Today we are going to do a little something different. We are actually going to be leading with the cheese.
Ooh.
So what cheese do you have in store for us today?
It's it doesn't move, but it makes other noises. Mm-hmm. The animal.
All right.
And it's from the land of secondhand smoke and French language in Canada.
Excellent. And the wines that we're going to go with, one it is a French wine, and the other one a little further south. Stay tuned. Greetings, everybody. I'm Brian Singh from Brian's Table.
And I'm Isaac Bignell from Say Cheese.
And today we're going to flip the order around, and we are going to be starting with the cheese, and we're going to pair it with wine.
Lovely.
Excellent. Okay. So Isaac, let's tell us about this cheese first.
Cheese is made from coagulated milk and trying to preserve it. So that's where it begins.
Like every cheese.
Exactly. Right from the beginning.
Yes.
This is a goat kind of inspired wash rind from Quebec. Missiska?
Missiska?
Mississauga?
Right.
Mississauga?
Mr. and Mississauga?
Okay, so...
it depends if it's married or not.
You're right, Mississauga.
Mississauga.
It is from Missiska, and this interesting producer that usually makes milk from Jersey cattle, which are a richer... Their milk is naturally richer from the Jersey Island,
right.
A breed. And this is their, I think, one of their first attempts at a goat cheese?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's obviously a wash rind cheese.
No, bloomy rind.
A bloomy rind,
Yeah,
okay.
it is white. It is not red. So
Okay.
that's a bloomy rind.
Okay.
Cream interior inspired. And then as you can see, as it's aging, the outside gets creamier first and it ages from the outside in. So that's why it still has a chalky interior.
Okay. And goat cheese. And how long aged for?
Probably...
Maybe a few months?
No. 35 days, I think.
Okay. So
Ish.
Okay.
I give an exact time.
Okay. 35 days plus or minus 2 hours.
Yeah, sure.
This is the thing about a lot of these things. It's all about mastering the process. That's where you see the geographical the markers or
IDGs.
They are the ones that stipulate how much time and types and what goes into the cheese.
Exactly.
And in Canada, they're not as stringent as in Europe.
No, in Canada, like our wine, it's about the producers and what they want to accomplish. So they're diligent upon themselves rather than a governing body applying strict rules.
Which is very much in the EU model.
Absolutely.
All right, let's give this cheese a sniff first.
Oh, fair. Well, that's a sniff.
That's a sniff.
It smells of rich cream, splash of goat.
There's an interesting note in there that...
From the rind, I wonder?
It's almost like prune.
Oh, that's what you're getting.
It's a Swedish kind of like stewed fruit. It's a very faint hint. But yes, the cream's there, the grassiness is there.
I am getting that little it's not... It's subtle.
Yeah, it is subtle.
For sure.
But, there is a goat on this, too.
Oh, yeah.
Goaty goat.
As it should be. It's of the cheese.
Okay. Give it a taste.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It's rich.
That cream is so fresh. It is literally giving you a coating on your tongue, but also washing your tongue at the same time. It's giving you a very clean sensation on the palate. Tons of acid.
Which is common of goat cheese.
Very common in goat cheese. But the creaminess and the rind adds a very unique dimension to this.
It adds that foresty body and mushroomy notes.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay. That's a delicious cheese. Highly recommended. And you guys are bringing this in?
Oh, absolutely, all the time.
okay.
Whenever I can.
Okay, and this is actually from near the Charlevoix region in Quebec, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so Charlevoix is now evolving into being like one of these
Our
premier
yeah.
cheese regions in North America. So
you say classification, they are putting a self-restricted AS plus on some of their cheeses.
I did not know that.
So they have certain breed of cattle that they're using. That's a uniquely Quebec breed now.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to do a whole video on that.
Okay, at some point. All right. So, in terms of the pairing on this one, we decided to do something a little bit different first. All right. We are going to go with the Ronan by Cleanet from Bordeaux. And what's Bordeaux?
Oh.
Yes.
Or no.
Or would that be Boram? No, that's terrible jokes. But Ronan, it is 70% Sauvignon Blanc and 30% Semillon. So these are the two principal white grapes of the Bordeaux region, right? As I've said before in a previous video, Sauvignon Blanc is one of the parent grapes to Cabernet Sauvignon, the other being Cabernet Franc, right? But this one, Chateau Cleanet, it is one of the preeminent winemakers of the Bordeaux region. And they do have an 1855 classification, which is a whole different video.
Do they?
At some point. And they are one of the gross. The odd thing about Bordeaux is they don't necessarily do a regional classification system. They do it based on the house or the producer of the wine. So if you got recognized in the 1855 classification based on the quality, there are 5 of the first growths, and typically the smaller the number of growths, the first growth are the most expensive. The fifth growths are usually, you get a fifth growth maybe at about $80 to $100 a bottle, which tells you where the first growths are. But for a producer to actually be releasing a white wine, you're going to get a pretty good bottle of wine. So, Cleanet, keep an eye out on this. I got this at Highlander here in Calgary, and this one I got on sale, with my discount, for just about $16, but most people could get it for under $20. All right, let's give this a taste first here, Isaac.
Okay.
All right. Lovely. A little bit of floralness to it.
It smells like Sauvignon Blanc.
It smells, but it's like a tamed Sauvignon Blanc. You're not getting the big gooseberries coming out.
No.
Right? That's what the Semillon does. And the odd thing about it is the Semillon, even though Sauvignon Blanc is high acid on its own, Semillon is actually higher acid.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right? And Semillon is also the same grapes that they make the sweet wines out of.
The vitritis effect?
Yes.
I
Right?
didn't know that.
Yeah.
But that makes sense.
Right? And so because it's a high alcohol wine, and usually anytime you see a high alcohol wine, that means it has more preservative power in it. Right? So the Semillon for this, what it will do, it will bring ageability to the wine, as well as it will bring, I would think, structure to it. Like, it would integrate with the Sauvignon Blanc and give you a nice mouthfeel. All right, let's give it a taste. Fantastic wine.
And the acidity is clear cut in the wine.
It's not a high acid wine as traditionally Semillon on its own and Sauvignon Blanc on its own. And the nice thing about the Bordeaux blends, for those people who are vegetarian and vegan, it's got a lovely body to it. It's just a shade above medium. It's got a bit of weight to it. It has a little bit of oiliness to it, if you notice.
On the tongue, yeah.
On the tongue, right? Again, that's just telling you it's still a little bit on the young side. It could take a little bit of aging. But something like this, I would give this maybe 2 to 3 years, no more than that. But most of the Bordeaux whites, if they do have a little bit of Semillon in it, I'd say once they cross some 20%, you can get a couple extra years out of it. Again, our favorite screw top enclosure. That means that you're not going to deal with any of the cork taint or cork fault. or the risk of that, I should say more correctly. And the reason why we went with this is because the Sauvignon Blanc goes well with goat cheese. Let's see how it pairs up with the wine. All right, give the cheese a go. Delicious. Tasty.
Oh.
Wow.
Makes it so sweet. Oh.
It does.
You're also the rind with its like earthier notes are also present too. So it's sweeter and more earthy.
Yes. It's going in that direction. The interesting thing was the Sauvignon Blanc is doing exactly what it should be doing with the goat cheese. But it's the Semillon that's giving you a heavier feel.
Oh.
Like if you notice towards we have bitter receptors on, and that was your point about the rind and what it's doing. That's taking you to the right side of your mouth.
Okay.
So the bitter and the sour receptors, they're engaged at the same point. So it's almost as if there's a duality to this pairing.
Yeah. And
it's almost a duality of one side of the mouth versus the other side, isn't it?
It's not exactly together like some pairings. That's a great way to put it.
Right.
I'm getting both.
You're getting both.
Another sip and see how that.
It is. We're going to go back in here. Have a little more cheese. I'm intentionally putting the cheese to the right side of the mouth where my bitter and my sour receptors are.
Oh.
Yeah, it took up the sweetness even more. But it's a very smooth pairing, lovely pairing, very simple, but this needs a third element to it. A little bit of fruit with it would go along with it. Yeah,
the fruit jam, something new.
Right. One of the things that as Semillon ages, so it takes on a nutty character, but it also takes on a honeyed character.
Oh,
right.
That's so true.
Right. So the nice thing about this is, even with this, a drizzle of honey on this would go really well with this wine.
It's great to think about. That's also like. Sometimes when there's a really beautiful goat cheese like this, sometimes people add honey, and I find it just ruins it. It doesn't need it, but something like this would need a kiss of honey.
It does.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the fun thing. It's like wine pairings and wine cheese pairings are not always a simple process of pairing the wine with cheese. Sometimes you need a third element to it, right? And that's why sometimes when you do get a charcuterie board, there's always going to be nuts, there's always going to be preserves, there's always going to be dried fruit. Because again, usually when you get a cheese board, it's a little choose your own adventure.
Oh, totally.
Right? So for the other wine, let's move on to that. I decided, because Spain has a long history of goat cheeses, to go to Rioja with Muga. This is their basic white, and it's just white wine, produce of Spain. Very basic. This one comes in at about just under $20. Muga is one of the big bodegas. That's what they call the wine houses in Spain. And they are based out of Rioja, up in the north of Spain. And this is 100% Fiora. Again, there's a whole whack of these grapes that you get in the Mediterranean years. And because the Mediterranean diet is very prominent now, it's nice to actually think about Mediterranean wines, right? So, but in doing that, you also have to learn a little bit more about the Mediterranean wines and all of their weird and wonderful varieties. And they are delicious. And this is one that I like to introduce you to. The Fioras are lovely. They could be done bone dry. They could be also done with a little bit of sweetness. But Spanish whites are so undervalued and overperform every time.
Oh.
Right? So,
what a terrible problem to have.
I know. Life in Spain. People just don't know how good our white wines are. Right? Let's give it a sniff first.
Oh, on the first is like something very tropical.
Yes.
What is that? Just it's a bouquet? It's like a passion fruit, I guess.
Yes, it is.
Oh, there you go.
A lot of tropical fruit on here.
Totally. Something desserty too.
Yes. It's almost a custardy.
Would be, yeah. Passion fruit custard.
A passion fruit custard.
There's a bit of baking spice in it too.
Yes.
Okay.
Lime curd.
Ah, okay.
It's not lemon curd, but lime curd.
Well, now we're talking about Gibraltar. If it's a lime curd, a little British splash in our Spanish expedition.
But keep in mind, it is a dry white wine. So even though we're picking up Swedish notes, this wine, it is on the nose because of the alcohol content. It is 13.5. I'm going to guess it may be because you're feeling the heat of the alcohol in your nose. It may be pushing 14%. This is telling you that this is a bone dry, low sugar white wine.
Be excellent.
Let's give it a taste. That's fantastic.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
A lot of acid.
Eucalyptus.
Yep.
Oh.
I was trying to pick. I was picking that up on the nose.
And then when I tasted it, it went to words. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. That.
But it's sort of like surrounding the tongue.
It is. It totally is.
It's always like, so it's kind of like going around the middle of the tongue, middle and back of the tongue, and it's playing with the acid.
It is, and it's even bringing out, though we got tropical because of that eucalyptus and getting more herbaceous and minerality coming through that.
Right. So this is saying that this is something that you want to go with something really savory with.
Well.
All right, let's give this a go with the cheese.
Oh, I'm excited.
All right, now I'm really interested in this. Got cheese. Let's give it a go.
Good cheese.
Good cheese. Muga.
Oh.
Wow. So, first thing that strikes me, the rind. This pairing, it's almost like, you know those spheres that you put your hand on and the electricity emanates from the center?
Tickles it.
At the center of the sphere, that is where the rind is. And that's really in the center of my tongue. And this is very much more picking up on the rind notes.
Then the last one, you got the sweet and the rind on the right. This one is a full experience.
Right. The odd thing about this is telling you actually want meat with it.
Ah, okay.
Right?
So, some Iberico perhaps?
Yes.
Serrano?
It's something like that. A lovely ham.
But with Serrano, with this, the Serrano's dryness and agedness would play well with the rind too.
Yes.
Oh, shucks, we didn't get any.
I know. But again, it goes to show, sometimes you need to have the third to have a better time.
Yep.
In terms of each of these pairings, Isaac, the first one, where did that put you?
That one feels like, I don't know. I don't have very words for that one.
I'm going to say this feels very much like a pairing on the Côte d'Azur, where you're actually not that far from the Alps.
Yep.
And, you could go and enjoy the coast at one moment and go skiing the next day.
Because of its richness as well as its lightness.
Yes.
Gotcha.
As well as the duality of saying it's a different place. But with something that brings it together is the interaction of these two locations that are very enjoyable, but with a partner of some fruit or a little bit of nuts or a compote, this would be a lovely pairing.
Gotcha.
Okay, with this one, where does that put you?
Oh, that just felt right. Oh.
Yeah. Again, it's not necessarily the classic pairing, but this one again will go with ham, and it would, maybe this is where you want to be up in the mountains and just saying, where the oak trees and you get the acorns and something like that.
A little bit of fall in too.
Yeah, a little fall up country pairing.
The turtleneck, not beer.
This is turtleneck one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Excellent. Okay, folks, go out there, look out for Missiska cheeses. Any recommendations as to their portfolio, Isaac? Do they have any other goat cheeses or?
They have very few cheeses too.
Okay, all right, but you see, it goes to show that, here's a region that's now starting to put out some pretty serious cheeses.
Oh, Quebec is getting there.
It's getting there, and it's fantastic. But go out there, try it with some different wines. I totally recommend a Sauvignon Blanc with that on its own, but it's kind of fun to actually try it with a Semillon. But it's also fun to try it with a Spanish white. Again, you go out there, choose your own adventure. Thanks again for watching, and please go out there, taste the world.